Pokemon Legends EA has introduced an entirely brand new way to play Pokemon, and this could be really big because it might not just be locked to this game. In the normal fashion, it's turn-based style combat, versus in this format, it's a lot of action RPG that still requires a lot of strategy and a lot of thought. I think this could be huge because I don't think it's only going to be locked to this game. They could experiment it down the line, especially with Pokemon Champions on the way. This now gives Pokemon a lot more room to grow, to experiment with different styles of combat for the games. This was a lot like the anime did, where you can kind of shout at your guys to dodge moves or attack, and I think that's very cool. I do want to talk about how this works so that everyone and their mother can dive into the rank format, because I promise you, this rank style game that they did, they really cooked. This is actually tough. The first thing, we'll get it out the way. Only a couple Pokemon are eligible within the Pokédex. Right now, the Lumiose Pokédex goes from numbers 1 through 227. They're eligible to participate. Regional forms with the eligible dex numbers can be used, and only one Pokemon of a given species may be registered, so you can't pull up with 5 Garchomps. It's also important to note that all your Pokemon will automatically be turned to level 50, so you don't have to worry too much about grinding them and more about EV training them, bottle capping them, TMing them, and all that jazz. Dupe held items are not allowed, and the total time limit usually floats around 3 minutes, so the games go by pretty fast. I highly recommend getting on this joint like right now and hitting rank K ASAP. They use the Greninja with that, and I don't think he's gonna be around too much longer. It's like November 4th. I don't know how else you can get this guy once this is gone, so high key, get on this. The game queues are like really fast. It's only like 3 minutes for the games, and it's kind of fun. The best way to make access and strong use of your moves to rank really fast is plus moves. Anytime you see that small little icon next to your moves, that is a plus move. What they basically do is, for an offensive move, a plus move will do more increased damage, and for a status / debuffing move, it will increase the duration or increase the effect that was used. It is very important to note though that when you do use a plus move, protect, detect, any way of blocking the damage will not work. They will always go through damage blocking moves. But when you Mega Evolve, all of your moves become plus moves. And they have an additional bonus damage added because, well, Mega Evolutions have juice stats. These guys are crazy. How you're gonna wanna master the plus moves is also really important. Over time, you just kind of will get it. Once your Pokemon learns a new move gradually while leveling up, after like 5 or 10 levels, it will just naturally become a plus move. Alpha Pokemon also just straight up come with the ability to have plus moves already in their learn set. But the big one is a lot of the TMs that you get through the Mabel research are really strong. And the only way you could turn TM moves into plus moves is talking to Jose? I don't know how to say her name. She's at the dojo, and you can exchange the Seeds of Mastery with her, and it will turn those moves that you want via TM into a plus move. The big thing about status moves is they work entirely different in this game. Similar to Legends Arceus, sleep is entirely gone. They brought back drowsy, and it's really cool how it works because it makes the move have an increased cooldown after it's being used. This makes the Pokemon completely immobile for a lot longer, and you can either gain spacing with this to reposition yourself with a range move, or just kind of brawl them out with a physical move up close. Burned relatively works the same. They lose HP over time, and the physical moves do less damage. Confusion is interesting because the Pokemon, when you return them back to you, it won't be in a straight line. This makes repositioning very difficult, so confusion can be very cheesy. Freeze works exactly how it does in the main games. Only certain moves will thaw you out and you're entirely frozen. I do wish it was Frostbite, but hey bro, we gotta take it how it is. Paralysis still reduces movement speed, and Poison is still very annoying. Even when you're not attacking, when you're walking around, you will still lose health. Kind of like how in the old games you walked around and you lost health, so. Range moves and close moves are really important in this game because positioning is very, very big. You don't want to put yourself at a disadvantaged state, so you want to be mindful on which ones you use and where you use them. Close moves, of course, need you to be in melee range, and range moves need you to be attacking them from a distance. When you use a close move, it does kind of feel nice because you're just up there bum rushing, but the unfortunate part is it will kind of leave you vulnerable. They kind of feel delayed post using them, so you want to be very mindful on when you use them, typically when the gauge is down or low. But with range moves, you can actually dodge a lot more easier. But the thing about them is they have a longer casting time when you use them. A move like Ice Beam is very good in this game, but you can't just spam because the casting time is going to be a lot longer than something like close combat, which is up close. There's pros and cons, of course, but it's always important to be mindful on when you use them, where you use them, and why you use them. The big key is kind of mixing the moves, that way you can kind of work around this strategy of their disadvantages. And relatively most mixed attackers, someone like Lucario, are very powerful in this game. Being mindful of advantage and disadvantage states is going to be the key on winning every ranked battle. One of the largest things that goes across a lot of people's minds is the speed stat in this game. While yes, speed is king in the main strategy of the actual games, even in ZA, speed is king. In Pokemon ZA, the speed influences the time it takes to execute a move. A faster Pokemon will always have their move gauge come back than somebody who's slower. Speed wins yet again. Somebody like Greninja, Alakazam, and Aerodactyl will gain their move back after using it a lot faster than someone like Emboar or Camerupt, who are not that fast. It's always really important to have at least one Pokemon on your team that is really fast to take advantage of the disadvantage states that some of these either ranged nukers will use, like Gardevoir, or the really strong physical brawlers like Mega Emboar. A couple side notes too, there's a lot of team-wide buffs on the floor that you can just kind of straight up pick up. Like they have X attack, you can gain mega powers on the floor. And the really neat thing is, even if the current Pokemon switches out, you kind of still retain that buff until it expires. You can switch up to 3 times max throughout the entire match, but the last Pokemon that comes in is kind of in the entire time until it dies, so I would kind of think about the strategy here and what you kind of want to send out. They really punish you on spam switching, so you kind of want to be very timeful with it, but it'd be really cheesy if you could just spam switch, so I'm kind of okay with this. Obtaining points isn't too hard either. You get points for literally anything. You can knock out a Pokemon and gain points. You can gain points from being the most active attacker. There's even an achievement for the most knockouts on a Mega Evolution. There's a lot of things that you get just for playing the match in itself. Now, what I truly think what this means for the future of the Pokemon franchise, if they want to experiment or not for Gen 10 and other side games beyond, I think this means that we might get a lot more different type of battle styles throughout these next upcoming games. Champions is going to be the game that's the most consistent when it comes to being at Worlds, being for professional play, and all that sort. I mean, it's even confirmed to be the game at Worlds for 2026. So because it's the main competitive game and it kind of feels like the Showdown variant but on Wi-Fi, confirmed as well that it has every single gimmick of D-Max all the way to Terra, Mega, and Z-Move, and whatever else they want to slap in this, I think this means the franchise and other generations can experiment with the battle style. Bro, they did strong and agile style in Legends Arceus, and I was not a fan of that. But in this game, with the way that they do it for the real-time battle system, I like this a lot more than I did of strong and agile style. It just felt too cheesy, and this one feels like there's at least a little bit of thought that goes into it. A lot more than just, all right, bro, just time, you know what I'm saying? I'm 1-in-1 in the sense of what type of battle styles they've done in Legends Arceus to Legends ZA, but I am a big believer that it's not just going to be locked to the Legends game. There's a real chance that Generation 10 could just straight up not have turn-based style combat. I wouldn't complain, obviously, if it did, but it's just something that I can kind of see since they're really showing that they want to stress the limits on how far they can go on experimenting. I mean, this joint is straight up the anime, bro. I think it's really cool. I'm a fan. Those are the basics. I think this format is extremely fun. I love that it's really different, and I think everybody honestly should give it a try. And I hope you have a great time on the ZA ladder.